Hello. Okay, that's working. Good, good, good. All right. I need to my pattern pulled up. I actually want to look at the full PDF version of the pattern, not the pattern keeper version. Blue line. Well, 3. Everything's not 310 here. That line. Grayish brown. Okay, trying to decipher this whole list. Colors is insane. I'm going to call it 938. Where's 938? Do I want to do 1 or 2 a backstitch? I think pattern only calls for 1. Yeah, I'm just gonna do 1. Nope, I lied. I'm gonna do 2. Decision paralysis. Music is too loud in my ear. There we go. That's better. Okay, so this stitching is going to be a little more chaotic. So we're doing backstitch. A lot of off and ons. This one comes where? Comes from here to here. Yes. And from there to here. And that's all for that round. Hey, Miko, how are you? I am doing good. Had a pretty chaotic week this last week with a little staycation and some family visits and stuff. No, still another year. That's that one. And so everything else for this section is going to be in black. Yeah, it's a bit of both, of course. I'm excited to gain that time back, but also, I'll miss it. But I've always tried to take a lot of joy in the here and now. And so it's a bit of a thing like I'm accepting the growth and the change for what it is and really kind of trying to enjoy each moment rather than like dreading or like worrying about the next moment. Uh, Where am I starting? Down at the bottom. Yeah. I'm just letting you know where I'm at. On low difficulty. Noisy meant problem. So I'm debating, the pattern doesn't call for any of this backstitch. So I'm debating what elements of this book to backstitch. I'm going to backstitch the outline of the book itself. I'm just debating whether to backstitch any of the elements inside of it. I've seen a lot of people doing different things. Like I've seen one person who's backstitching like every like color change and stuff, which doesn't make sense to me because this book's got like a lighter half and a darker half. So like this stripe here isn't pure white. It's white on one side and ochre on the other. And I feel like stitching that divider line is wrong. Just like on top and below that colored line. It's just a shadow. Because I think it's going to be a judgment call on each piece. What I stitch and what I don't. Like on his face, they've got a couple little stitches below each eye that are like a little rosy cheek. I'm not going to stitch around those to backstitch. But I will backstitch his whole face. And probably like his hair. So it's kind of a real random of what I'm deciding I'm going to backstitch and what I'm not. Because the pattern literally only calls for the backstitch on the boat and then two lines here to serve as like a mustache and a couple lines on the skull. And that's it. But I think it needs a little more backstitch to make it stand out. Still not caught up on stitching the authors yet, but I'm done this top row now. So I just I wanted to backstitch the whole row so I could have like a complete row done. kind of put me, further behind since I'm not using this time to continue to catch up. But it's making me happy. It's what I wanted to do tonight. I want to start to see the characters pop. You and Miko keeping busy? Ooh, fun, a scarf. Gotten very little crafting done recently. I had to do a kind of utility type project. My husband needed more shirts for work, so I just finished sewing 6 more shirts. That was a kind of a big project. Those are all done and will be sent off to the embroiderer who embroiders the patches on them for his company. That kind of took a lot of my extra time over the last couple weekends. Did finish knitting a pair of those no show, no ankle socks. Just finished knitting a pair of those. I just have to weave in ends and block it. Yeah, but I'm excited to get back to working on this project, working on my Monday night project. And then I have to get back to working on stuff for markets for the fall. Mm. Do these last 2 stitches on the side, and then we'll start a next thread. It's getting too short. Navigate. Yep, I just lost it. On the stand. Thank you. Am I liking this? I don't know yet. That keeps curling up on me. Where's a clip? Need the edge of the fabric keeps curling up on me. Alright, there we go. Oh, I go down this line. Do this. Okay. Maybe I do like how this is turning out. Doing the elements on the book. Right here. Mhm. Wait, outline the eyes. Feel like yes. Yeah, I think that looks a little cleaner. The crows outside are having a field day. I don't know what's going on, but they're just hollering. Mhm. Yeah, I like how it's turning out. Mm. All right, where am I? Here. I can do straight. Okay. I have what's what? Yeah, you know, ultimate. I don't want. Kind of put. Hopefully, have you? Yeah, you're good. But it's funny that.
Mhm. All right. Almost done the book. And then I want to look up a picture of what someone else did with the backstitching of this. I've seen other people write the name of the author in, and I want to see where they did it. Basically, to copy their idea.
Yeah, that's probably. It's fixable.
Right. Bind off this one. All right, let's look up what the other person has done. Find the Facebook group. What am I looking for? Clouds Factory. Hmm. Where is someone who's added the name there? Yeah. They're doing it here. Here? Looks like it. The writing will make it really pop. Edgar.
Everyone.
Whatever you do, don't spell the names wrong. A really looks like an R. Need to fix that. It's gonna bug me. Make sure I'm on this side. That's better. Instantly better.
Oh, that's good.
Faces. There. Edgar Allan Poe. Name done. Now we'll do the author himself. Where do I want to start? Right here. Ba, ba, ba. Back down. An outline of the pants and the shoes. Mhm. Alright, and that'll be the end of that. Floss. Remember to drink. Right. And do um shirt here. Welcome back from ads. Anyone who got stuck in them. Backstitch around his vest.
Oh, it's gonna. Let's try it. Turn out. Really, you. Hey, hey,
Mm. I like how it's turning out. I was a little unsure if I was going to be happy with the backstitch. I think it's turning out good. I'm glad I went with 2 threads instead of 1. On cartoony stuff like this where it's really pixelated, I like the 2 better than 1. For the follow, almost. Thank you very much. Lucha Larry. I've been really enjoying this cross stitch. It's a stitch along by a publisher, I guess is the best term, called Clouds Factory. It is a bookshelf full of all kinds of different authors. Every month they're releasing another author or two to fill up the bookcase over the course of a year. I've got about 8 or so authors done now. We're just going back through and doing the backstitch that I leave till the end. Now, the pattern itself didn't call for most of this backstitch. But I decided I needed the characters to pop a little more than they do on the pattern itself. This has been my Sunday night project for most of the year. Total coincidence, it seems. Yeah, there are multiple authors. Just beside Poe here, kind of peek going in there, we've got Stephen King. And just tucked below him here is Jane Austen. Where am I? the fun piece. I've been enjoying it so far. This is the second stitch along I've done from this company. Okay, I need to pause here for a second and consult my pattern because there is some patterned backstitch here. I just want to make sure I don't screw it up. All right. Let's do that now before I lose it. Add the mustaches. A little bit of mustache here. Some of the only patterned backstitch for this section. There's a little line on the boat. There's these two mustache stitches. And then there's a little bit of backstitch on the skull hiding down here. That's the only things they had patterned. It's not sitting flat. Better. I think the pattern as written is for a darker back fabric, but I didn't want to try and order the fabric. Because back when it was time to order the fabric was right before Christmas last year, and that's when the Canadian postal strike system, or the Canadian Postal Service, went on strike. So we couldn't order the fabric properly. And then once it was available and I was able to order it, it was already kind of late and I didn't want to do the cost. But I happened to already have this egg crew one just kicking around my stash. Which was the right size, thankfully. But it does mean that, like, the arms and stuff kind of fade into the background. Decided early on I was going to have to add at least a little bit of extra backstitch. I've seen a lot of people doing extra backstitch on the Facebook group for this designer. It was one of those people who gave me the idea to add the name on the top, which isn't supposed to be there. But that's helpful because there's actually at least one of the authors that I didn't actually know by name. I've already forgotten her name. The one who writes Murder She Wrote? Agatha Christie. There it is. Came to me. Well, it's funny because I laugh because most of these authors I know of, but haven't actually read much of their work. Like, I don't know if I've ever actually read anything from Edgar Allan Poe, other than maybe like one random poem. But like, I don't know his work that much. I just know of him. It's for us uneducated people. Yeah. That's how I feel about most of these authors. I'm like, I know who they are from pop culture awareness. I think we've only done one author that I've actually read a good chunk of their books, and that's Tolkien. Who else did we do? Agatha Christie, Lewis Carroll, Tolkien, and Mary Shelley, and Jane Austen are the ones we have done so far. There's, I think, 3 or 4 more authors released that I haven't stitched yet. I'm running a little behind, but I don't remember who they are.
Oh, it's fun. Right. What's the
Alright. Oh, I just remembered one of the ones that I haven't stitched yet is Shakespeare. That's an author I've read a lot of.
I like it.
Trying to remember who the other ones who have been released that I haven't done yet are. Is it Ronald Dahl? I think the guy who did like James and the Giant Peach. Ronald Dahl, I think is his name. That one. Mm. Okay. Alright, start a new thread. Are you a crafter yourself, Larry? Or just an appreciator? Alright, do these eyes. I need to do the eyes. Yeah, I I first learned it from like my grandmother when I was like 12, something like that, and then didn't do it for years. I started picking it up again when I got carpal tunnel from working in a fabric store and knitting too much. And CrossStitch seems to be one of the few fiber crafts that doesn't aggravate it, so I can do it a lot longer than I can a lot of the other fiber crafts. Yeah, it can be hard when you get like binging on a really big project like that. That yeah, you can lose the kind of excitement to keep going. I've got quite a few projects on pause because they've uh, lost the excitement. Yeah, if someone has a negative attitude, it can make it hard. Mm. This grandmother was actually, she wasn't like my biological grandmother, but kind of like an adopted grandmother. She was my stepfather's mom. And I lost touch with her, but she's definitely the foundation of all of my crafting. She taught me to sew, to knit, to cross stitch. She used to watch me during the summers when school was off, spend the summers at her house. Yeah, yeah, it can be hard.
So it's just micro. When they fucking we do not go there.
Everything else was on hold for the hats. Well, I'm gonna get back to the grind of everything else. Yeah, I've just finished spending a week having family visits and doing some stuff, and I need to really get back to working on a few different projects. Sunday nights, I always work on this project. Monday nights, we're working on a little miniature book nook house. Those are kind of, these are my two kind of personal projects. And then Wednesday night stream, I'm usually working on something that I'm selling. Because I sell at local craft sales as well as I have a fourth wall shop. But mainly local craft sales, and I need to build up my inventory for the next craft sale coming up.
Doesn't look that bad.
I think I'll be doing my first one in, I think, October. So I really need to get moving. I've really been slacking lately.
It's
Oh yeah, it's the lead up to Christmas market and fall and all that. Well, specifically for me, for what I'm trying to sell anyway, I sell like kids' toys that are handmade like heirloom kids' toys. So it's really about Christmas. Yeah, basically. Mrs. Claus. Quite a few new things I want to try and get done in time for the market, so it's gonna be on a push for all my spare time. But keeping my Sundays and Mondays to their special projects. My only other stream on Wednesdays will be the toys. But then my off stream crafting time, I also work on that stuff. I don't think my inventory will be super huge this year's markets, just because time has been so short. But it'll get better.
hindsight. Yeah, I fucking where you went.
The a stay-at-home mom of a very hyperactive toddler, so I don't tend to have a lot of time during the day. Just what I can squeeze in my evenings. Man, cross-stitch gifts are those things that people very much often undervalue because they don't realize the time it takes. Yeah, doing duplicates can be a struggle.
Oh, I mean, coming up.
They couldn't figure out who made it. You're not known as a crafter. Oh, the IT, all that, yeah. I can see how they wouldn't expect that. Your Batman secret.
But I need to pause for a second. My light is dying. Let's switch the batteries. Otherwise, my eyes are going to start to go cross-eyed on me. Yeah, no problem, Miko. See you later. Joy of rechargeable batteries. Not sponsored. Not sponsored by the IKEA. Oh, we have light again. Yeah, we built a frame that holds my work, and then also has a frame that holds a small little, like, tiny ring light. Like one of those ring lights that, like, you normally would, like, stick on the wall in, like, a closet or something like that. It holds that and my phone as my downward camera. It's a contraption that my husband helped build with some pipes and our 3D printer, and it's been working quite well, though I have a few repairs we need to do on it. Because a while ago the toddler knocked it down, it fell over and a couple pieces broke, and I've just been kind of making it work. Okay, where did I stop? There, here. Yeah, we've got a piece printed to try with my Q-snap. I just haven't gotten around to trying it yet because I have kind of put that project on hold for the moment that I have in my Q-snaps as I work on other stuff. The thing I've loved about having a stand versus not having a stand is that I can stitch two-handed, which you can't do if you're holding the hoop or holding your work. Okay, I'm going to outline the eye, I think. Don't think I'm going to outline the beak. I'm going to let that sit, but I will outline the eye. Being able to go two-handed has drastically increased my speed, which is nice. I used to average about 150 stitches an hour, and stitches being like full X's. Where now I can do 150 to 250, depending on how many color changes and counting and whatever else. But I know I usually can get close to 200. It's about my average right now for two-handed.
That's what I use to math out how long something's going to take me. I am a nerd like that and want to know how long something's going to take me. And so I have kept track of my stitch counts to get an average. Big numbers nerd. I like numbers. Oh, see, I don't usually count them. I usually use Pattern Keeper, which counts them for me. Yeah, because there's no way I'd be able to actually count them. We use tool assistants. Yeah. Just use Pattern Keeper so I can just highlight the stitches I've done and it will tell me how many stitches I've done. The only thing it's not counting for me are these back stitches, as I'm freeform doing most of this, making decisions as we go. It must not be Pattern Keeper then. Because Pattern Keeper you can zoom endlessly. Here. You can go into actual Pattern Keeper. So that's the screen. Where's my camera? This is Pattern Keeper for this section. You can zoom in endlessly. Showing colors because it's stitches I've done. Stitches I haven't done yet will be symboled. And so you can just highlight which ones you've done. Part I like is it'll also highlight, like if I want to work on that color, it will highlight all the stitches of that color for me. Makes it easier to kind of pick it out of the list so you don't get distracted by all the symbols. Useful ADHD trick. But Pattern Keeper is a paid app. Oh, yeah. Um, I find Pattern Keeper works well from a PDF, but if you're trying to transfer in a hard copy pattern, it struggles. So yeah, if that's what you're trying to do, then I don't love it. I have actually used an app, or well, a website, I mean, to copy out a physical pattern and create my own PDF. Because I am that crazy of I would rather use Pattern Keeper than use a physical paper pattern. So I'll use like a website that lets me manually create the pattern and then save the PDF and port it into Pattern Keeper. I specifically tend to do that if I find a real pattern I really like in a magazine that I want to keep. I'll copy it out on that website and save a PDF of it. Usually specifically because I don't buy magazines, I just borrow them from the library. So it's my way of keeping the pattern for when I'm ready to work on it. Ugh. I mean, it's fine for some people. I hate patterns printed on cloth. One of my personal icks. But I do agree that they can be way easier. Need to start a new thread in just a second. I want to see if I can squeeze out these last couple stitches. Start just a fresh one for the skull. Some in the back. Okay, I did. That wasn't smart. Oh well. I was stitching here when I lost my thread off the needle and rethreaded it, and then I moved up and did up there and didn't finish that line. That's why my thread was suddenly very empty. Oh well. Let's go back to the spot that I was just in. Go around the skull. Do-do. The skull here might be the last thing we do for the night. My eyes are starting to get a little squirrely. A little tired. I spent, a good like 5 or 6 hours today outside in the sun with the little toddler. Mhm. Right. And then we have the 3 stitches that are actually patterned. Down here is these 3 kind of little like teethy type pattern. There we go, very exciting. Patterned cross stitch. And then all of the stuff that we're just doing because we think it makes it better. I feel like that is a thing with crafters. We're not great at actually following patterns all the time. We think we know better a lot. And sometimes we do. Sometimes we very much don't. Okay, I'm going to put the needle here because we still have enough thread there to keep going on the boat later. But for now, let's see who else is online that we can go say hi to. Let me put my ending soon screen up just so no one else comes to say hi while I look for a raid target. Thank you very much for coming and hanging out with me. I very much appreciate it. Who's this and what are they up to? I know where we're going. Raid. Can't. We're gonna go see Chaos Kittens and Crafting. Go say hi to them. They are also cross-stitching tonight. They looks like they might be doing like teaching. So I'm excited to see that, and hopefully I will see you guys again tomorrow for our miniature night. Thank you very much. Have a great night.